I'm just outlining colour on a separate multiply layer here to create flats. Then I'm going in and adding some shading for shadow areas. It's all solid colour. I'm not using selections to do this. Don't want it to look that perfect. I want it to feel more like it's been drawn by hand, like you would with traditional media. And this is all the same kind of technique here. So I'm starting painting on the background first, and I'll work towards the foreground, finishing with the fox. I'm laying in a light colour and a slightly darker colour. I mean, the sky is pretty light, so they're all quite high key. But yeah, I'm blending between the two. I don't generally blend a lot, but something like the sky wants to be quite smooth. So yeah, I'm using a blender there. As you can see, I'm still using a textured brush. Don't want to use the airbrush and get something too smooth. Still going for that handmade feel. And at the end, you'll see me create a texture, and just using a texture brush for that, and manipulate it to create the foreground. So I'll do this quite a bit to give the impression of something receding, coming forward, get that ground plane to look right. Then I'm just looking for a good layer mode to blend it with the colour. Have some favourites that I generally go to, overlay and multiply and so on. Using more texture brushes for the rocks here. Again, no selections, just painted by hand. And here I'm using a selection on the blacks that I've already created for the trees. And then I'm adjusting the colour, and as you can see, I'll shift the hue, select an existing colour, move it a bit and lighten it. I'm moving it towards yellow. That's generally the kind of colour you get on the sun, so in the light, and generally move towards blue for shadows when you're outside, but that can change depending on your lighting. Using some more texture brushes for the bushes and the trees in the background there. Those, I think, are Matty B's Flora brushes, and I use variations of the same brush for the different parts, so for the highlights and the shadows and for cutting into them as well. That foliage wasn't in the original sketch or in the flats, but I felt it was a bit dead looking back there, so I decided to put it in when I went to paint. Here I'm recreating a texture that I had in the original line art, and that was rather flat, so when I put the bands in, I tried to make them a little more rounded to suggest the shape of the legs or the body or whatever it is there. I'm also using selections here that I'm painting within, so as not to have to do too much cleanup. I'm still creating these light orange shapes around the edge. This was something I just took from Roger Dean's original artwork, that he wasn't always running textures right to the edges, so it's just a stylistic thing. I probably wouldn't have done it myself, but I was taking inspiration from those artworks, so that's how it ended up. It just continues in the same vein as that till the end now. I put a texture on at the end. That's homemade texture I just scanned in from paper, so through some ink at some paper, and I noticed that on the original artwork Roger Dean was using textures or something like that. So I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching. Bye.